Hey guys, welcome to Morro Bay here in California, and I'm about to do a quick video of this. In other words, this is the brand new 2025 Mercedes-Benz G550, and I have to be completely honest, full disclosure, as you know, this is my dream car, so if you're expecting an unbiased review, you may not get it. But as always, we're going to do a walk around, we're going to go into the hood, we're going to show you how much room there is, we're going to take it for a quick spin, and I am here with my man Steve, who's behind the camera. Say hi, Steve. He's waving hi, and he's my videographer because Mercedes lent us this car to drive from San Francisco to LA and then all the way over to Colorado, and guess what? We are going to stop in Moab, and we're going to take it off-road. But before we do that, let's talk about what we have here. We have the latest and greatest Mercedes-Benz G550. Now, there's a big change under the hood, which I'll show you in a second, but let's talk about the most important thing for many, it's price. Now I'm going to let you guess what the price is, but here's a hint. They start at $150,000, and that desert sand non-metallic is a $6,500 option. So if you know what the color is, you can start and guess at it. So what makes the G-Wagon my favorite vehicle, of course, is that this has been one of Mercedes' most long-lasting, most, I think, popular, most interesting cars since the Shah of Iran, which I'm sure you know, asked them to build a car for his military. Since then, Mercedes has cranked out all kinds of versions of this with different powertrains, including diesels. But this one is new because under the hood, let me show you that in a second. It's not what you think. The old G550 had a V8. This no longer does. Now, for the latest generation, what they've done is they've made it quite a bit bigger. As you can tell, there's more room behind the second row. It's wider, it's not quite as narrow, it's much more civilized, a little bit less off-road worthy, but this one luckily has Falcon Wild Peak, so they are all-terrain tires, so we will be able to take it off-road. Now, right here, of course, is the hitch, because people use these to tow things like their horses, and this Mercedes will tow, get this, 7,700 pounds, which is quite a bit. So let's sit in the back seat and kind of talk about maybe one of the downsides of the G, and that is the fact that it does compete with a lot of other very luxurious and big cars like the Escalade, and it's still relatively compact, even though there's more shoulder room, more headroom. As you can see, I've got the headrest in my back, but still behind where I sit, I've got plenty of headroom and adequate knee room. So if you're looking for something for a family of, let's say, 5, you may want to look at something with a third row or something that's got a little bit more space. But keep in mind, the average G customer owns several cars, so it's not like, you know, this is the only ride they have. So let's show you what's new, and that is under the hood. Pop that. And now, instead of a V8, we have, ta-da, a 3-liter straight 6 turbocharged mild hybrid that produces 443 horsepower and, get this, 413 pounds of torque. Mercedes says 0 to 60 in about 5 seconds with a combined MPG of 18. So if you guys like the old V8, which I love, because as you know, we just sold our old AMG, which had the turbocharged big old V8, this is a little bit different, but it is a little bit more fuel efficient, and it is a 48-volt mild hybrid, so 18 MPG combined. You know, I guess if you own one of these, you probably don't care about fuel economy, but I certainly care about it. So let me show you what is new on the inside. Hop in, Steve. I'll take the camera, and then we'll take it for a ride. Yeah, let me take the camera. Thank you, Steve. So this is my buddy Steve. We are doing a little vacation down the California coast, and it was kind for Mercedes to lend us this. So let's start it up. Oh, sorry, I didn't let you put your seatbelt on, Steve. I apologize. That was kind of silly. But if you can see here, it's got a much bigger screen. And here, I'll give you the camera. I'll show you my favorite feature of this car, and of course, it's the off-road cockpit, where you have not 1, not 2, but 3 locking differentials, and of course, a low range. I would say, I would dare say that this is the most off-road worthy car Mercedes builds, unless of course you consider the Unimog, which is probably a little bit more off-road worthy. Now, for this generation, Mercedes has civilized the car, in other words, made it more on-road worthy. So more headroom, more shoulder room, more people room, which is very nice. And my second favorite thing are these vents. Look how beautiful those are. And actually you can see the little colors in there, which you can change. Thank you, Mercedes, for not putting them into the screen. The other thing that I like is you have different drive modes. So let me show you those right there. And so you've got individual, sport, eco, and trail, which we'll be using later on this trip. For right now, I'm going to keep it in comfort, which changes obviously the steering, suspension, and the way the car accelerates. Big old screen, probably not too big, just the right size. No hyper screen. And over here, instead of a screen, you've got the oh, you know what bar, Steve? Don't say it. Yeah, he said it. No, oh crap bar. There you go. That's what he said. Of course, if you look over here, you've got traditional, not haptic seat controls. Mercedes has done the best seat controls in the world, and we're back to those. Things like heated seats, heated and vented seats are also there. Heated steering wheel. Do you like the massaging seats, Steve? He gives it a big thumbs up. Yeah.
Is the most glorious 30 seconds of my life.
He said he said most glorious 30 seconds of his life. Now, there are these haptic controls on the steering wheel, which I don't love. And the reason I don't love haptic controls is because they make the car look cheap. Because let's face it, they are cheap. So auto manufacturers, if you want to cheapen your brand, then just do haptic controls. I can't believe that they caught on, since Cadillac was one of the first brands that did it. I do love the traditional shifter. So reverse up, drive down, P in. So let's put it in drive. And then the other thing that I think is really nice, and I struggle with this so much, especially with some of the Toyota products, is if you look here on the screen, you of course have ADAS, right? Your safety and your lane keep and active lane keep and active steering. I was going to call it full self-driving. It doesn't have full self-driving. And if you don't want any of that intervention, all you do is click on the little car here. It takes you to the screen, and there's your active steering. I love that sound, by the way, of the doors locking. There's your active lane keep, and now, of course, you're going to have a little bit of interference when you drive, shall I say, and then to turn it off, you just go like that. I wish all manufacturers did that. How cool is that? Now, I'm going to accelerate just a little bit, and that's pretty good, huh, Steve?
Really good.
Yeah, that's really good. I don't want to go too fast. We're obviously not in a place where I can do that, but no discernible turbo lag, which is nice, and of course, full-time all-wheel drive, which is what you would expect from Mercedes. Now, I'm going to tell you why this review can't be unbiased. That's because there are several things that I love about this car, and I'm going to go through them. I'll give you my top three. Number three, of course, it's an off-roader that is also comfortable on-road. And for this generation, it's much more comfortable on-road. The previous generation would kind of wander down the highway and you felt like you were driving a Grenadier. Sorry, Grenadier, but it's true. This one, much more on-road worthy. So the steering is much more precise. It's just a much more comfortable car. And yet it still has, as I think we'll find out, all the off-road cred. The other thing I like is the view across the hood. I mean, look at that. Isn't that square jawed? This is a brick into the wind, but how cool is that? Those two big turn signal indicators, which, by the way, do kind of pop down in the case of a pedestrian accident, because this is Mercedes after all. And of course, from Land Rover, you've got this command driving position where you're sitting up high and you're looking down and you're looking over things. And then this generation of Mercedes G-Wagon is very quiet. I mean, you can tell this is as quiet as any luxury car that you can buy. And usually off-roaders are known for a lot of things, and quiet is not one of them. And for all of you Californians, why have I not ever heard of Morro Bay? It's such... Morro Bay, sorry. Steve's correcting me. Morro Bay. It's such a cute little town. It's just a little bit north of Pismo. And we're about, 20 minutes south of the Hearst Castle, which we visited yesterday. But Steve, maybe you could give them a little shot of the bay as we go by, because this is such a charming, look at the rock. I guess it's Morro Rock. I think that's fine. But look how charming this is. I mean, I've heard, of course, of Monterey and Carmel and towns like that. Hey, you could just point it at the G. Yes, it's a G. Hey, wave back. That's the cool thing about this vehicle. People notice it, especially in this desert sand. And I have to say, I am a little vain. I do like when people notice my car. But what a charming little town. And I'm so happy that we stopped here and didn't kind of go down further to like Santa Barbara or Solvang, which we're heading to next. The other thing that I like about the G, and this is something that I don't think any other car in the world has, and that is that this car feels like it's carved out of one piece of granite. I mean, when the doors lock, I'll unlock them, you can hear it here, listen. There's just this solidity that is such a joy to hear. It feels like it wasn't as much manufactured as it was sculpted out of metal and steel. And that gives you a sense that even though you're spending, have you guessed how much it is yet? I'll let you know in a second. Over $150,000, you're getting your money's worth. Look at the little bay here. How cute is that? Wow. I feel like this is why people move to California. And I'm not just talking about, you know, the ability to drive a G. Now, I guess in places like this, it's pretty unusual. If we were in LA or Hollywood, these things would be a dime a dozen. But, you know, where I come from, they're not that common. I also love the fact that for your HVAC controls right there, you have traditional controls and not just haptic controls. Thank you, Mercedes, for doing that. And then there is one question I have for you guys, and maybe you can answer this. Let me grab the Monroney, which I don't have right now. Where I put the Monroney? Oh, it's in my, of course I put it in my back pocket. So let me grab the Monroney and I'll show you the price. And then we can talk about some of the costs. So there's the Monroney. The total price is $170,000. The Desert Sand non-metallic is $6,500, but it says here B63 Sporty engine sound, $450. Now I did some Googling and I tried to figure out whether that is actually engine noise that is enhanced by being piped through the speakers, or if that is engine noise that's coming, or engine note that's coming from the actual engine. And if you know the answer, please let me know in the comments below, because I am very curious about that. So, when I first got into this car a few days ago and started driving it, I did, for a brief moment, think about asking my wife to remortgage her house so I could buy a $170,000 G-Wagon. Of course, the answer would be no. So like I said, I am a little biased, but I am very curious as to how this does off-road. And Steve, I promise you it won't be, well, it will be bumpy. And it will be very bumpy. And you might be scared. Okay, you won't be scared. You'd be very scared. But don't worry, you are a great and professional videographer. And I thank you for helping me out. And I thank you guys for watching this very quick first drive / this just in review of our G-Wagon. And an off-road review is coming in a few days, so stay tuned. As always, I will see you next time. Head on over to alltfl.com for more news, views, and what, Steve? Real-world reviews. We'll see you next time. Ciao.